Some of them starting to turn. Should check the temperature of it. That's about right. I think they're just starting to dry up and start to roast. The water kind of cools the pan down and stuff like that, so it takes a while for them to warm back up. As you can see, the grape juice, or what was supposed to be jam, is starting to boil, so I got to get my temperature gauge, pull that out and check and make sure it's above 220. $217, not hot enough. I don't know if you can hear them starting to pop. Okay, reached 220. I can pull this out. Now just scoop back into the jar. I want to get all this crusty stuff though. I think I didn't. I don't know if I left. Yeah, that's right. I left skins on that to make the jam. And if you don't put skins in there, you won't get the same taste. The skins make the taste. This is the same jar it came out of. And I'll just let it cool. You can see the beans turning. You get to here, you start stirring it all the time. So I'll probably take this lid off and just constantly stir it. You can hear it pop. You hear that pop? The drier your beans get, the hotter your skillet gets. So I start out at like try to like 430, 440, 450, because it'll be probably 500 by the time it gets done. By the time they're roasted, it'll probably be 500. You can see how some of these has kind of an oily. There's oil starting to seep out. Now they say don't do that. They say that's no good, but I don't do it. I go until I see that oil. I do basically maybe what they call a city blend. And if some of them get burnt, they'll turn they'll turn black, but they're not going to be charcoal. I mean, I might burn a few, but it doesn't ruin the taste. In fact, I like a few of them to not completely burn, but it adds some flavor to the coffee. These aren't done, they're getting close, but a test I do to check to see if they're ready is I'll take a little scoop of them like that. And then spread them out on the table and kind of hit them to see if they're going to grind good. See, they're still a little, so they still need some more time. Another thing I've been doing lately is making these are like vegan sausages, or a spicy vegan sausage. Can't remember what the name of them is. I started since the Queen died. I went out and got some English muffins, and they tasted kind of like sourdough. So I was like, okay, I can eat. Because I used to like English muffins, but since I've been making my own bread, I haven't bought any. I haven't bought any for decades. But anyway, when the Queen died, I'm gonna not celebrate, but not celebrate her death, but whatever, mark her death by buying English muffins, just to honor her by buying some English muffins. So I mean, I'm not honorable to them, but I mean, just she's been around my whole life. But I use pickles and onions, tomatoes, and lettuce on an English muffin. I'll tell you what, pretty dang good. Temperature is 480. Okay, so it's getting close to 500. And these are starting to smell the way these roast. It's funny that I don't know if it's where these beans come from. There's some oily skins, just starting to oil. But doesn't smell like coffee. Doesn't smell like coffee when I grind it. Doesn't smell like, it smells like this kind of coffee, the way I roast it, but it doesn't smell like coffee like out of a can. I mean, it smells like coffee, but it's not the same as like Colombian coffee. This is like Yirgacheffe. It comes from Africa. One thing about cracking, they say they'll start cracking, and then like 30 seconds after they start cracking, they go to the second crack. Well, these things, they crack for probably 20 minutes. So there's no. Sometimes it depends on how close the skillet is to temperature and everything. If it doesn't, if you start too low, it takes longer. You got to adjust the flame up. They say never to drop the flame off, and that's the reason I try to start them at like 430, 450, and then they end up right around 500, sometimes 510. But they'll crack, once they start drying and cracking, they'll crack for 20 minutes. There's no, I don't know if there's a first crack. I mean, first crack, second crack, I couldn't tell you. They say it's a slightly less loud crack on the second crack, but meaning when they pop, because they're like popcorn, you can hear that. But it's not like popcorn. It doesn't just go. Brrr. There's these skins, you can see them right down here. They're just light and fluffy. That's what when I'll put them in this thing right here, this big old I don't know what they call these drainers. Not a core, anyway, but I put them in there, and all these I start shaking. I cover it with this this bowl that I got them wet. I soaked them in, or no, I didn't soak them. I washed them in, and then I'll shake that around, and all those skins, it'll be a bunch of flaky stuff, and it'll be like it's snowing these skins, because it'll break them skins off. Because apparently that gives it a bitter taste if you don't get those off. So that's how I cool them, and that's how it shakes them skins off. And when they're basically, you can feel the mesh underneath when when you can touch them, is when I just bring them back inside. Okay, these all crack. I just pulled some out and checked to see if they're going to be able to grind good. So this is about where I take them to. Now, they ain't going to stay this dark. A lot of times you'll burn them when they're in the skillet, but they're not actually burned. It's that outer skin on them that turns black. So these will there's a couple yellow ones in there. Say, oh, throw them out because they'll ruin the taste. Well, basically, if you got good beans, they ain't gonna ruin the taste. Because I mean, you got blonde roast. So I mean, how could that? You know, they say that's not a good bean. I don't know what's wrong. Maybe they're too green or something. But that's this is about where I pull them out, because they're nice and brittle, so they're gonna grind good. That's basically where I take them to a nice brown and some black, and they're got kind of a sheen to them. I don't know if the camera picks that up. And that's where the oils are starting to come out of them. This is where I take them to. You can also taste the when you crack them, you can taste them and see if they if that's the roast you want. You just take them out and crack them, and they say they smoke a lot. Now your house will smell like coffee too. You'll come inside, you can't smell it when you're cooking. I usually have the vent fan on, but I turned it off to make this video. But you'll smell it when you leave. You'll come back in, and like all day it'll smell like coffee. It's pretty good until you cook something. Yeah, those look pretty good. You can see all the flakes that are that's what they come out of when you shake them. And you see how dirty that is there? See all them flakes there? I'll put this bowl over it, and I'll take it outside and shake it. And that's what they look like after you shake them. Shake them and cool them. Now they'll basically sit out for 24 hours. I'm going to make a cup of coffee with some of them, but they gas out, so that's what I'm going to do now.